Zach, I'll start with you on this one. Jason Peters working at tackle only. Does that mean that Tyler Smith is going to be moving to guard?
I think so. I think that was my initial guess. Was if they keep talking about Tyron. So if they're excited about Tyron, he's going to get his spot back at left tackle. And I think that you just move Tyler over to left guard. I just think he's played too well. And we thought he played better than McGovern. I know they didn't necessarily say that.
No, they didn't see it our way for sure.
But they also haven't necessarily wanted to tip their hand on what they actually will do along the offensive line. So who knows if they would have actually played McGovern over Tyler if that was the case week one. So, yeah, I think you kick Tyler Smith into left guard and you play both Smiths on the left side. And hopefully that's a really good left side. And then Jason Peters ends up being your backup to Tyron and McGovern is your backup to Tyler.
How about that, Chief?
Yeah, Jerry's been talking about Tyron coming back since the day he got injured. And we all knew when he comes back, he's going back to his Hall of Fame left tackle position. So Tyler Smith is going to have to move over. And having Jason Peters is really nice insurance for you.
Yeah, I think so. But it's just weird that you wouldn't go Peters at left tackle because they're talking about how they like what he's doing in practice and put Tyler Smith at left guard now.
Yeah.
Why not do it now? Because you have the possibility and you've been telling us. So I'm not going to rule out something weird with somebody going to right tackle.
Is there any possibility? Oh, you said we're going to right tackle.
Yeah.
Okay. So
it's where Tyron played in college in his rookie year.
I wonder, do you think there's a possibility that Tyron Smith would just be a backup?
I don't think so.
I wouldn't imagine they're talking about him this much and that they're getting an all-pro back and all that.
Exactly.
If they were considering transitioning him to retirement, basically.
But you're saying right tackle, though, that maybe that's...
Maybe. I mean, sure, I'm going to go with 55% the scenario you guys throw out there.
Sure.
I'm going to go with 30% something weird's going to happen with somebody at right tackle, and then a 15% of I don't know what the hell they're going to do because they've been so random about it.
I thought initially that it was automatically that he was going to move to guard, but...
Tyler Smith?
Yeah, but I'm not too sure.
Why not do it now?
That's a damn good point. I mean, if you go ahead, but maybe they're just like, listen, we think Jason Peters is just a backup.
Yeah, I mean, they can say anything they want about, we like Jason Peters and how he's practicing and everything like that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's factual. It doesn't mean it's true. They might be looking at Jason Peters practicing every day, going, "Dear God, this
they
guy
might just be saying
has
nice
aged."
things,
right?
Yeah,
but we need O-line depth. It's hard to come by O-line depth here.
Yeah, exactly. Chief, which helps the Cowboys right now? Fix the run defense or add Odell Beckham?
Well, I just think it's unrealistic to... I think fixing the run defense is... I don't know how you go about really doing that. Because you're not able to bring anybody else in. Feels like Dan Quinn is doing everything in his power.
Yeah, he's adamant that he feels like he has the right people to do it.
Yeah, and they've been talking about it all season. They haven't been good at stopping the run all season. They still haven't fixed it. So would you love to fix the run defense? Absolutely. I don't know that you're doing that. I think Odell Beckham Jr. can come in here and actually really help you. So to me, Odell Beckham Jr. would be the most realistic option here.
Zach?
Well, what helps you right now would be...
Which helps the Cowboys right now?
Would be the run defense, right? Because I don't know realistically how quickly Odell Beckham Jr. is going to be available. I mean, he's saying he needs 2 weeks just to get into football shape before he wants to go and meet with a team. So Odell's going to need a little bit of a ramp-up period. Right now, today, if I could wave a magic wand and this run defense is fixed and Dan Quinn can maybe find a way to get this thing corrected, hell yeah, give me that.
Gavin?
Yeah, I think Chiafalo made a great point. It's much more realistic. You could get Odell Beckham Jr., but in a fantasy land, let me fix the run defense. Yeah, I'll take that. I think Odell Beckham Jr. is going to help you in maybe once or twice, throughout the course of the season. You'll be like, wow, he was the difference here. But it's like every series, that's a threat to crush you.
Kind of feel like that having him on that 4th and 3 might have been a play to him, or maybe you're not in that situation.
In a playoff game, he can make a difference for you.
Is, absolutely. All right, Gavin. Should the Cowboys worry about teams figuring it out for the playoff race? And I'm talking about Tampa, Green Bay, Washington, San Francisco. Should the Cowboys be worried about teams figuring it out for the playoff race?
I think you absolutely should with San Francisco. With Green Bay and Tampa Bay, I think you need to be confident that even though that went against you, you were the better team than Green Bay, and you're the better team than Tampa Bay. You need to have the right game plan, and you know, I think the Cowboys would have that. But it's San Francisco's ability to bully you that I would be most concerned with, and I think it's just a matter of them getting healthy. I think on paper, maybe the best team in the conference.
Eric?
Yeah, I think that you're getting to a place where you have to, as long as you're taking care of business, you're good. But you can't think you can just go have 9 or even 10 wins and think you're getting into the playoffs. You're gonna need to go get 11 wins because the Niners are right there, the Giants are right there. Right now, New York, and the Niners are all the wild card teams. But Washington's floating around. I don't really trust in what they got, but they're a tough out for anybody with the way they're starting to play defense, getting Chase Young back, they're running the ball. And then Aaron Rodgers, the mystery box of Aaron Rodgers, I wasn't buying into it on Sunday. Walchuk was. You were. It bit you. Yeah. So, yeah, there's a little bit of concern here. You got to go win 11 games, so go do that, and you're fine.
You say it all the time, Brian. The NFL is a strange lady.
It is.
You got to win football games and make sure that you don't start to let this thing become a slide. You got a tough game coming up against Minnesota. All right. If all of a sudden you lose back-to-back games, we're all going to be feeling a little bit sick on Thanksgiving Day with the Giants coming to town. So you best damn well win that one because things are starting to get a little bit cluttered here in the NFC playoff picture.
I would worry about Tampa, and I think the Commanders are an interesting team because of how they do play defense. And they look, they've kind of figured something out with their quarterback.
I think the Cowboys own Heineke.
Okay. I mean, it's
they don't scare
last
me,
game
but
of the
you're right.
year.
They're a tough out, and they're
yeah.
a competitive football team, but I'm not worried about them when it comes to against the Cowboys.
Okay. Coming back to you on this one, are we going to see more big games from CeeDee Lamb, or was that just a one-off of the year?
You will see more games because CeeDee Lamb is all they have. Michael Gallup is a shell of himself. I don't think he's playing with a lot of confidence. I don't know that if it's the knee or what's going on, but he's not really getting a lot of separation unless teams are just playing off coverage. And maybe they watch the All-22 and they realize best way to defend Michael Gallup, play tight, play some man press against him. But if you want to play off like Rasul Douglas did, allow him a slant inside, then Michael Gallup's still good for you. Otherwise, he's not giving you a lot of separation. Neither is any other receiver outside of CeeDee Lamb. But yeah, he's going to have to be big for you, or else what are you getting out of anyone else in your receiving room?
Eric?
CeeDee Lamb is first in the sport in target share. They're force feeding him just by the nature of that. Yeah, he's going to have big games.
Gavin?
Well, he's getting a lot of target. That's crazy, but he's not. He's only had one 100-yard game.
Yeah.
I guess I'm going to go with the no because that's been his career up to this point. For 2.5 seasons, he doesn't have monster games, so I guess not. But I think he's a really good player.
Yeah, I kind of worry about that a little bit. I think what you're talking about, the receivers around him need to improve, and maybe that's why you talk about going to get Odell Beckham, that maybe that helps it even more. But man, he has not been as consistent as I thought he might be, with these games. So, and the game plan might have something to do with that too. All right, Eric, let's go with you on this one though. Has Dan Quinn been masking problems all year, and are our opponents starting to figure out the defense?
Yeah, the opponents are starting to figure out the defense for sure. Dan Quinn, he's trying to, but it's hard to say that he's been masking them because they've still sucked at it. So he's trying to mask it with different things, playing some guys in the box, doing all the stunting that he's doing, stunting more than anybody in the sport by a wide margin, but it's not working. Yeah. So it's hard, for me, it's hard to say that he is masking them because it's the same conversation every week that the run defense isn't good, and now you just gave up all the big plays. So, and that's because Dan Quinn was overcompensating for the run defense that is struggling with, and even while overcompensating for it, still failing to stop it. So, I think Dan Quinn is, we were lamenting Kellen Moore yesterday. Dan Quinn, I think we're all looking at you now. What's the deal?
You know, I think that's a really good point. I wasn't sure how to answer that until Chiafalo just did right there, and I think he makes a hell of a point. And I would add to that it's just teams figuring out how to attack them better.
Yeah.
You know, just like last year at midseason where they were like, hey, this is how we stop Dak. Now they're like, hey, this is how you beat the Cowboys defense. Just keep running it again and again and again and again. Even if you think you're in a must-pass situation, think again.
And avoid Trayvon Diggs.
Yes.
If I just don't throw Trayvon Diggs' way, I can have my way with anybody, especially when Dan Quinn's going to not have a safety over top of Kelvin Joseph or Anthony Brown.
Yeah, I don't really know what more you really can expect out of Dan Quinn. I think he's doing everything he can for you. I think this is a player issue, and they need to step up. Jaron Kurtz, where are you? Yeah. You know, that when you do keep Malik Hooker back, he's not doing anything for you, right? Yeah. You don't have a good enough second corner right now.
Jerry said something yesterday, pass rush is a privilege. I think that's the message they're trying to get to their players. Like, if you don't play the run, we're not going to let you rush the pass. Yeah. They're trying to go to every motivational tactic they can to try to get the players to play the run a little bit better. And I hope it's possible. I really do, because it's been a problem for a while, and not fixing it to this point makes me believe they can't fix it. So I'm looking to be surprised.
Gentlemen, thank you very much.